This is Goldie Farms today, but 6 years ago, nearly nothing grew here. But now this land feeds us. It all started with a vision to grow my own food, but it turns out we have some of the worst soil ever. But I had this vision of eating nourishing food and connecting with nature and life, but instead, I was fighting a sandpit full of junk. But everything changed when we stopped fighting our soil and realized we could work with nature to turn it all around. And that's what I'm going to share today so that you can grow your own food too, no matter what you're starting with. This is the story of how we turned dead dirt into a thriving food forest using just 3 simple ingredients. So much sand. This is what we started with. Here's where we ended up. So when we first started Goldie Farms, I didn't understand what soil was. I thought if you just put plants in the ground and as long as you kept them watered, you would grow food. And that was not the case. And my misunderstanding of that really set us back. And so I really want to share with you the mistakes that we made that set us back and how you can move so much faster in growing your own food. This week I planted strawberries, cut arugula, moved wood chips, helped plant a tree, played with Bambi in the yard, and checked on our worms. And all these activities help improve our soil. But after 6 years of trial and error, it's become very clear what really worked for us in creating a low-maintenance, low-cost, food-producing garden. And it all starts with these guys. And these guys. Inside the soil, there's a whole universe of microbiology. And bigger biology too, like worms and roly-polies, or do you call them pill bugs, as well as fungi and bacteria. Plants don't just inherently thrive because we put them in the ground and water them. They thrive because of a beneficial relationship with the life in the soil. So if you want to grow lots of food, it really starts with creating conditions to support the soil biology. And that life needs the same things as us. It needs air, water, and sugar. And creating a system that gives this life what it needs with as little effort on your part as possible is the key to food production freedom. So let's go back in time to the beginning and take a look at what we did at Goldie Farms to bring this soil back to life.
Hello, welcome to Goldie Farms. I wanted to give you a little tour, a little update. Follow me.
In the beginning was terrible soil and a budget of nearly zero. So we did something simple and affordable. We scattered seeds, cheap, resilient seeds like cover crops, sunflowers from birdseed bags. Our criteria was that it was cheap, ecologically beneficial, and could hopefully survive. We then covered the seeds in straw and waited for rain. And waited and waited. And then to the surprise of many, the seeds sprouted, and in a matter of weeks, the yard was transformed. And it was all very magical, but these weren't just pretty plants. These were our solar factories. I didn't realize it at the time, but what we were doing was using these hardy, resilient plants to capture the free, abundant sunshine and convert it into sugar, which feeds the microbes in the soil. Through photosynthesis, plants convert sunshine into root exudates, which soil microbes, these guys, need to thrive. But then the rain stopped, the heat came, and our plants dried out, went to seed, and died. And that's when we hit the real problem. Our soil couldn't hold water, and that's the problem with poor soils is they don't manage moisture well. So we cut everything down, covered it with wood chips, leaves, any organic material we could get for free, and then we let it rest. Then the next season, when it rained again, a new generation of seeds sprouted, broke through the mulch, and the cycle began again. And that is a pattern we've been repeating every single season at Goldie Farms, except each year the soil changes. It becomes a little more fertile and a little more alive. No fertilizers, no tilling, just repeating a simple pattern. Grow plants, cover the soil, and let time do the work. And those are the 3 ingredients, the keys to building soil: resilient plants, organic matter, and time. But what I didn't realize back then is that these 3 ingredients are actually just tools for working with the real forces that actually grow the food: sunlight, water, and life in the soil. And these cover crops, they were helping us create a food growing system, but they're just a temporary measure, just one piece of the puzzle. Things really accelerated when we started adding trees. We realized that if plants capture sunshine, then trees are just much bigger, longer-lasting solar panels, capturing more light and converting it to sugars and feeding the microbes in the soil. But we still needed sunlight reaching all the plants below. So we planted trees with small leaves and pruned them to be open and airy. That way, light could filter through all 7 layers of our food forest, each layer capturing more energy to feed the system. The trees also shade the garden, which helps maintain moisture in the soil and makes the garden a much more pleasant space to work in. But every time we planted a tree, or any plant for that matter, we added a whole lot of this. This is compost, and compost changes everything. It transforms dense, compact soils like heavy clay and helps sandy soils hold water and nutrients. It helps create living soil that can hold rainwater and provide little pockets of air for soil biology. Basically, it helps create the ideal environment for both soil microbes and plants to thrive. We make ours from kitchen scraps, cover crops, wood chips, and whenever we can get some, manure. But compost is so valuable to a garden that it's worth purchasing it to kickstart your food forest. Compost is probably the only area in my life where I'm not thrifty because it's so valuable to a garden. So I hope I didn't lose you there or make it too complicated, because the reality is soil is very complicated. There's life in there that we don't even fully understand, but it's also beautifully simple. We let nature show us what plants can survive in the soil we started with, then we use those plants to capture the sun's energy and feed the soil life. And then we use those plants again to create compost and mulch to enhance and protect the soil season after season. As the soil improved, everything else followed. More life, more water retention, more resilience. Until about a year ago, when we noticed something happen. The system noticeably changed. We started adding a lot less wood chips and less cover crops returned because they were slowly being replaced with food. We planted fruit trees, nut trees, greens, and veggies. Ground covers like strawberries and goji berries replaced the areas that were once mulch or cover crops. And of course, we included lots of perennial natives, salvias, and flowers to feed the soil, the bees, and the butterflies. Because our soil could finally support all these plants. And these plants, in turn, support the soil. And that's the ultimate goal: a self-sustaining system that feeds the future. I'm looking out the window at a view of Goldie Farms I have from this little studio back here, and it's just amazing how nature can transform. And if you just give it the right tools, even the most challenging space really can be transformed into a little oasis. And this process has shown me that the world truly can transform one backyard at a time. We can be the change and create a world that's beautiful and full of nourishing food. We can return to the Garden of Eden and live a life that's different than what we've been sold. If you'd like to transform your own space, I created the 4-week food forest, which is a step-by-step guide, and it'll take you through every step, start to finish. And you can access that here using the code, or you can use the link in the description below. And I'll see you next time at Goldie Farms. Bye.